Hello learners, I welcome you to this module where we will understand the bioreactors, which are conventionally called as fermenters, and its general design. As we all know that fermentation process is bioconversion of complex organic materials into and simpler compounds of economic importance. This process is catalyzed by microorganisms or its derived enzymes. Since it is bioconversion, hence the process is sensitive towards pH, temperature, agitation, oxygen carbon dioxide ratio and nutrient level. The maintenance of all above parameters affect the product formation. The favorable conditions are called as optimum condition for good production in fermentation. A specially designed vessel for which favors optimum growth and product formation is called as fermenter. Nowadays, a popular term is coined as bioreactor. The design of the fermenter should be capable of excellent control over the ingoing process. It is having a facility for constant monitoring of the cell growth. Therefore, the design of the fermenter is very complicated. Its design depends on the type of product. There are two main criteria for designing of any bioreactor. The selection of a suitable reactor is critically important, which in turn depends on the type of conversion reaction. The reaction conditions should be maintained at optimum level. Basics of fermentation process. Before any process is initiated, the amount of product required per day and the rate of formation of the product is also calculated. There are many choices for any fermentation to be carried out, like batch culture, continuous culture, etc. The basic parameters such as temperature of fermentation, pH, concentration of nutrients are pre-decided earlier. The concentrations of these variables can be changed as the reaction moves forward. Ultimately, the selection of the fermenter design, the effect of the operating conditions, the performance of the bioreactor and the comparison with other designs, their productivity is essential before the process and its design is finalized. The designing of such a bioreactor in which the conversion and product formation would be satisfactory is very complicated. The designing is basically done by taking into consideration the following steps. The strain of the microorganism which is selected for production has a major effect on the criteria of designing. The type of organisms, the growth pattern and growing conditions decides the process conditions to be provided by the bioreactor, like amount of oxygen, speed of agitation, temperature and pH. Based on the requirement of the process, the proper selection of the type of fermenter like batch, continuous, stirred tank or tubular should be done appropriately. The selection of the fermenter dimension should be done like capacity, size and operational variables, heat transfer and related agitations, aeration to be given and power supply, computer aided monitoring of the system and at the end safety measures. After all these steps are decided, the design of the fermenter is finalized. After designing, the economics of the whole process is reviewed. Understanding the bioconversions going inside the reactor. The reactions catalyzed by microorganisms work in entirely different manner when compared to chemical reactions. The environment of biochemical reactions is very complicated. It is really difficult to maintain the stability of the environment in which the reaction is proceeding. It is important to have growth of organism and simultaneous production of the product must also run in parallel. The microorganisms should be potent for enzyme production. The conditions of pH and temperature must be maintained at desired level stringently. The environment should be aqueous in nature. The concentrations of the substrate and products should be relatively low. Nature of the reaction inside a bioreactor. Let us first understand the type of reaction. Depending on the number of phases, the system are classified into homogeneous system and heterogeneous system. If the reaction takes place in only one phase, it is referred as homogeneous system. If a reaction requires two or more phases for its completion, it is called as an heterogeneous system. All microbiological systems require a solid phase, that is the cell itself, and the aqueous phase, which is the medium around it. Sometimes it involves the gaseous phases. The rate of reaction. The reaction rate of a heterogeneous reaction are affected by multiple factors like concentration of the substrate and concentration of the product. The cell, that is the solid phase, is dispersed in the liquid media. Sometimes gaseous phase also interacts in the form of air bubble. Interaction of different phases during a fermentation process is shown in figure 1. In figure 1, it is seen that the gaseous phase is in form of an air bubble in the aqueous medium containing nutrients. The gaseous phase travels through the aqueous phase, causing gas-liquid interaction. The air bubbles passes through the membrane inside the cell, exemplifying the gas-solid interaction. The substrates are absorbed by the growing cell and used in the reaction zone. In the reaction zone, the product is formed and released in the aqueous environment. The rate of the reaction finally depends upon the interaction of the three phases. More efficient is the interaction, more the process will be productive. The important step in fermentation process is requirement of large vessels for enormous quantities of fermentation medium. These vessels are commonly designed and are called as fermenters. Fermenters have a complicated design and should provide facility for control of the bioprocess and observation of the system for the requirement of the basic processes. We must understand the components of a fermenter as well as common ancillary equipments required for a fermentation to complete successfully. The design of a fermenter should be able to provide the best fermentation and growth conditions. The material used for fabrication of a fermenter should have following properties. It should be a strong material to withstand immense pressure developed inside the fermenter. It should be a material which is non-corrosive and non-toxic. The vessel should be able to prevent contamination during the process of fermentation, as mostly all the fermentations use pure cultures. If the organism is aerobic, then sufficient oxygen should be made available in the medium for optimum growth of the organism. Since carbon dioxide is constantly evolved from the organism, there should be provision for its removal. The fermenter should have provision for addition of antifoam agents to be added intermittently. It should have provision for withdrawal of the samples for analysis. It should have mechanisms of monitoring the pH and temperature inside the fermenter. It should have provision for addition of alkali or acids to maintain the pH. It should have a provision for addition of inoculum from the seed tank. There should be a mechanism for sterilization of the medium and the antifoam agents added to it. At the end, a fermenter should have a drainage for removal of the content after the fermentation. It also helps in washing and cleaning the equipment in between two fermentations. Why do we require a fermenter? The industrial use of microorganisms require that they may be grown in large vessels containing considerable quantities of nutrient media. These vessels are commonly called as fermenters. They can be quite complicated in design. Frequently, they must provide for the control and observation of many requirements of microbial growth. Therefore, before understanding the fermentation process, we must know something related to the design and operation of the fermenter as well as their accessories. The fermenters also have some limitations in a way that the microorganisms can be cultivated on an industrial scale for industrial fermentation. Types of fermentation operations. Based on the type of flow of nutrients fed in the fermenter, operations are classified into two types: batch operations and continuous operations. When the fermentation is carried out on batch basis, it is called as batch fermentation. The batch fermentation has following steps: development of the inoculum, shake flask culture, production of the seed and inoculation in the final fermentation tank. Batch fermenters. Batch fermenters are available in various sizes. The size of the batch fermenter ranges from a few hundred to a few thousand gallons. Any fermenter is described on the basis of its total volume capacity. On the basis of size, the fermenters are classified as small laboratory fermenters, pilot plant fermenters, large scale fermenters or production fermenters. The size of small fermenters range from 1 to 2 liters and a maximum of 15 liters. The pilot plant fermenters, on the other hand, have a capacity of 25 to a maximum volume of 2000 gallons, and the industrial fermenters range from 25,000 to 5 lakhs of gallons. Total capacity. Now let us understand the term working volume. Working volume of a fermenter is always less than its total volume. In other words, the space which is left empty in the fermenter is counted in the total volume, but it is not included in the actual volume. Fermenter is equal to its actual volume in addition to the head space present in the fermenter, as shown in figure 2. The intention of head space in any fermenter while working is to allow aeration and to give space for the process of foaming in the medium as well as for splashing of liquid. Generally, it is seen that 1/5 of the total volume of the fermenter is considered as the head space. The pH control. Let us now come to the second part, that is the pH control. It is done by using acid or alkali. When the pH changes above the optimum pH and the acid is to be added to drop down the pH. If the pH of the fermenter drops below the optimum pH, then alkali is to be added to the fermenter. If the pH rises above the optimum pH, then acid is to be added to bring the pH normal to the optimum value. The pH value can be adjusted by addition of either acid or base as the situation arises. The pH of the medium inside the fermenter is also connected to the auto titrator and a pH probe. Temperature control. The control of temperature is achieved by using a water jacket present around the fermenter. The water jacket is a hollow space present around the walls of the fermenter from the outer side, and whenever the temperature of the fermenter rises, chilled water is circulated through the water jacket. The water which comes out of the water jacket after circulation is very hot. This becomes very hot, causing the decrease in the temperature of the fermenter. This process is due to heat transfer from surface of the fermenter. Water is circulated through the water jacket, and when the water, after circulating from the outer part of the fermenter, comes out of the water jacket, it becomes very hot. causing the decrease in the temperature of the fermenter. This process is due to heat transfer from the surface of the fermenter and is used for temperature control as shown in figure 3. Agitation. A device which is used to mix all the components of the media inside the fermenter is called as an agitator. The agitator is a device which contains a central rod which is very strong and straight. It is called as the shaft. It is present in the fan and the blades are called as impellers as shown in figure 4. Impellers is flattened structure, light and which is fitted with bolt with a shaft. The agitator is moved. It causes mixing of the microorganism, the gas and the nutrients along with one another. The shaft is connected on the top with an electric motor which is mounted externally on the fermenter tank. The speed of the agitator differs and ranges upon the requirement of the agitation. Sometimes the agitator is directly driven. The aeration. The aeration device inside the fermenter is supplied through the process of variation. The aeration device consists of a pipe-like structure with very fine holes through which the pressurized air is passed inside the liquid. Since the holes are very fine, therefore, air is introduced in the medium in form of very tiny bubbles, which is done by this device. The small holes vary in their sizes depending upon larger or smaller requirement of air. Aeration requires very high pressure for formation of the desirable size of air bubbles, such that it should be the highest possibility of interaction between the cell and the air bubble. Since the bubbling of the air inside the media requires very high pressure, therefore, the effect of aeration upon the fermentation makes it very costly for large scale fermentation process. The figure 5 provides information for study of the structure of an aerator. This type of aerator is called as a ring sparger, where the holes are on the surface just below the impeller. But such a design of aerator purchased had a problem of blocking. When filamentous fungi were used for fermentation, clogging started to appear in the holes because the mycelia used to block the holes and therefore aerator efficiency was reduced. In order to solve this problem, a simple modification was done by which the direction of the holes were made on the lower part of the tube and it faced downwards. That for no clogging due to the microbial cells occurred during the process of fermentation. There are other ways of introducing air inside the fermenter. The main methods are impeller injection, where the air is filled in the impeller by means of a hollow drive shaft and injected into the medium through the holes of the impeller. To phase injection, a two-phase mixture of air and nutrient medium is fed into the fermenter in form of a foam or a suspension. Airlift fermenter is used to circulate the contents of the foam which enters the draft tube which is external to the vessel. For internal, by using a draft tube, the most widely used for fermenter is tested as shown in figure 6. In airlift fermenters, the circulation of the foam and the media is done by using the draft tube as shown in figure 6. The main features of batch fermenter is shown in this very figure. Commonly, the air is introduced in the sparger which is placed at the bottom and other side of the impeller. Many types of spargers are used, that a single jet or a multi-jet, and porous types are comparatively used. The porous type is unpopular due to its clogging problems. Still, in wastewater treatment industry, the porous type are prevalent because there is no agitation involved in this process. Time. It is yet another factor which is very critical for batch fermentation. Every batch fermentation is allowed to be proceeded for a fixed period of time, which varies from some hours to weeks. It depends upon the mechanism of bioconversion, which will help the formation of the product, the conditions which are used, and the growth of microorganisms involved, such that contamination can easily be avoided and agitation and temperature can be maintained through this time. This time is called as the incubation period of the fermentation and is important parameter in designing. The problem associated with the fermentation tanks are very deep, like the size of the vessel, the time of the process, the initial substrate concentration, the holding time of the media, the concentration of the microorganism, and the requirement of air and power are to be considered in any process designing. The continuous fermentation. A continuous fermentation is the process in which constantly the media is added to the fermenter and the fermentation broth is withdrawn outside the fermenter in continuous fermentation. The fermenter which is used is called as a continuous stirred tank fermenter. The layout of continuous stirred tank fermenter is not very different from that we studied for a batch fermenter. The difference is that there is a mechanism to feed the media continuously inside the fermenter and an overflow device which helps in withdrawal of the fermented broth along with the product. In principle, the basic difference that in continuous fermentation is steady state is maintained inside the vessel. Contents of the vessel do not vary along with the time. That is, the concentration of any nutrient does not change even though the incubation time passes by. Therefore, it helps to hold the microorganism in a single phase where maximum amount of product is formed. It gives to a satisfactory yield in the microbial and biochemical product. The most successful type of continuous fermentation are those fermentations which are producing yeast or bacteria as a desired product, or primary metabolite compounds formed by chemical reactions of the microbes are produced by continuous process. The autocatalysis of microbial reaction takes place and are very significant. The presence of one of the product in addition to the organism affects the overall reaction. In absence of microorganism, no reaction takes place. Therefore, it is very important to maintain a less product level within a fermenter. If the flow rate is also raised to a very high value, then all the organisms will be swept from the fermenter and the conversion will be stopped. This phenomena of drain due to the flow rate of the medium is called as washout. If the microorganisms added to the fermenter simultaneously with the substrate feed, the problem associated is the washing out of the cell. Operations and conditions require a continuous flow of microorganism as the media also flows in the fermenter. The effluent streams contain the washed out microorganisms. The effluent which contains the organisms should be either moved to the centrifuge or a sedimentation tank. The cells which are recovered can be suspended and recycled back to the fermenter. Both these methods have successfully been applied on industrial scale for production of beer and in activated sludge process. The constant flow of microorganism improves the washout problem. It increases the product and the total number of microorganisms available in the fermenter. The continuous stirred tank fermenter are normally operated at a very high substrate concentration. The substrate concentration in the effluent streams due to washout is very low and loss of substrate is not a very important problem. When a number of fermenters are used in the train of fermenters, additional substrate has to be added to each of them. A further important feature of the fermenter is that if microorganisms from the first fermenter is washed out, it flows through succeeding fermenters as shown in figure 8. If the number of fermenters are used in a train, it means that additional substrate has to be added to each of the fermenter. A further feature of this train of fermenters is that microorganisms occur in the first fermenter washout cannot occur in spite of the fact that the flow rate through the succeeding fermenters increases in direction of the flow as a result of substrate addition. The productivity of each succeeding fermenter is greater than the previous one. It is used for production of Saccharomyces cerevisiae that is commonly called as baker's yeast. In batch process, it is necessary to vary environmental conditions over the course of type of reaction. In multi-stage systems, this is successfully handled by providing different environmental conditions at different stages. An alternative form of continuous stirred tank reactor is shown in figure 9. As we can see in the figure, it consists of tubes divided into equal sections by horizontal perforated plates. The fermenter is intended for use under aerobic conditions with medium, and air is constantly introduced to the base of the column. In operation, the gas liquid ratio is adjusted so that a pool of liquid is present on each plate above which a column of air is left. It is claimed that if the liquid volume ratio is nicely maintained, then the productivity of this fermenter is exactly similar to that of the tank fermenter. The tubular tower fermenter. This fermenter is specially designed fermenter used for production of microbial mass. When the microbial cell itself is the product of fermentation, it has two important features for freely suspended particles in the form enters the second particle which are adhering to the surface of the cement. The state that contributes most significantly to the performance of tubular tower fermenter. It depends upon the fraction of the total microbial cells present in a particular state of standard cells. The factors which influence the size of these flocks are not very well known. The increase in the flocculation reaction can be achieved by flocculating agents like alum or calcium chloride. The size of the flock can also be decreased by increasing the force of shear or by surface active agents. It is suggested that all the microbes can flock. They are as individual cells or in groups. Some microbes have tendency to form flocks. The basic mechanism for adhesion between the microbial cell is not totally understood. They can come in contact with the surface and develop into a film that covers the surface. The thickness of the film depends upon various factors which help in its formation. The basic mechanism the performance of the batch fermentation and continuous stirred tank fermentation is dominated by suspended microbes. They can often occur in large flocks as shown in figure 10. In contrast to this, the performance of tubular tower fermenter are largely dominated by flocks, short films depending upon the detail of the configuration and the flow rate inside the fermenter, which has the microbial flocks. Solid support is chiefly used in wastewater treatment industry in form of trickling filters. The fluidized bed reactor condition is shown in figure 11. It represents the particulate fluidization. This is a uniform mode of fluidization. It is the characteristic of the bed of regular particles suspended in the liquid. In the flowing liquid, streaks of additional gas phase is introduced. There is a tendency for the particle to become less distributed. There are two important features of mixed particle sizes. First, it increases in the porosity from bottom to top of the bed particle movement when compared with that containing a constant size of particle. The porosity is a measure of local available free space within the bed. It represents the measure of microbial holdup when expressed as wet volume per unit bed volume. There is a variation in the microbial holdup to be expected within a fluidized bed fermenter as given in figure 11. On fluidization, the smaller particles rise up relatively to the large particles and produce the situations where smaller particles are at the top and larger particles are at the bottom, as solid particles have the lowest settling density. The bed arranges itself so that smaller particles may be the reason of high porosity and low linear density. The tower fermenter is based upon the general principle in the process used flocks to maintain in suspension by upward movement of neutral medium. Moreover, the entrapped particles are returned by means of sedimentation to the top of the tower. Essentially, the fermenter consists of a vertical cylinder with a ratio of 10:1. At the top of the tower, a separator is provided to induce gas bubbles produced by the reaction to collapse and escape from the liquid phase. Within the separator, rising off of free gases occurs so that the yeast settles down and returns to the main body of the tower. The clear beer can be removed, which is essential for an alcoholic fermentation at acceptable flow rates. The feature of tubular tower fermenter is progressive and continuous fall in the specific gravity of the nutrient medium between the bottom and top of the tower. The initial rapid fall at the bottom of the tower, it is followed by slow fall over the middle and then the top of the tower. This one fall in specific gravity is due to fermentation of sugars. Otherwise, a large portion of yeast would be washed out. As a result of insufficient quantity of the yeast, the product yield would be hampered. With this, we come to the end of this module, which explained you in detail the bioreactors, its design and types. Thank you.